Let's regenerate! Back with you to review the latest pro wrestling news and results as per WrestleMania, baby!
A little bit of a different look for this top 10 takes. If you're wondering what's going on, I'm actually on location, so to speak, from a different location in Minnesota, as I have some work-related commitments this week in a different location, so I am hunkered up in a hotel until Friday, so that means we are going to be doing some wrestling rants on location from my room right here in St. Cloud, Minnesota. So, let's get into the latest top 10 takes. We're going to be talking about the G1 CLIMAX 33, the top 10 best matches, and then I'm going to break down a little bit on just my thoughts on the quarterfinals, semifinals, and the finals of the tournament. And obviously, do not have the tripod, so I'm kind of handheld and hand-holding this rant with the camera. So let's talk about the G1 CLIMAX. Just some general thoughts. I didn't think it was the greatest G1 CLIMAX of all time by any means, but I thought this was a good mix this year of established talent, veteran talent, guys that they're obviously pushing currently, and then some guys that we're going to probably see being pushed more and more throughout the years. I'm talking about like a Hikuleo, I'm talking about a Shota Umino, I'm talking about Yota Tsuji, some of these guys. So it was a nice mix of them all. I feel like a lot of guys got showcased well. Gabriel Kidd, as one example, man, he really came across really well. Ishii, of course, the workhorse that he is, great turnout. Will Ospreay, what can you say about him? He looked great in just about every match. Same with Okada, of course. And then some of the other guys like Kiyomiya really stood out. I really felt like he should have had advanced, as well as Umino, I think, is another guy that really should have advanced. How about Shingo Takagi? I mean, there was so much talent in this one. It was hard to call who really should have advanced into what ended up being an 8-man tournament after the blocks ended. 2 competitors from each block advanced into an 8-man single elimination tournament at that point. And that's when the tournament really picked up, I felt like, was once we moved to that position, things got on a whole other level. So let's talk about first, before we get into the top 10 takes, let's talk about the quarterfinals, the semifinals, and the finals. So quarterfinals had Naito and Hikuleo. I can't say this made the list. It was okay, but it just was what it was. Naito was certainly at times coming across like he was really struggling in the ring, depending who he was working with. Obviously, we know that Naito won the whole G1 CLIMAX 33. In case you didn't hear about it, spoiler alert, he is the G1 CLIMAX winner, and he had, we'll talk about it in a second, he had some really good matches near the end, but this match with Hikuleo just really didn't cut it for me too much. I think it was more on the Hikuleo side. I think Naito was trying to carry the guy, but you can only do so much in these situations, but is what it is. Naito advanced to the semifinals. He took on the winner of Will Ospreay and David Finlay, which was a solid, really solid match. Just missed the top 10, but it was a really good match. I'd say check it out. It was just barely missed the top 10. Very good match. Ospreay went over in that one. Then we got Evil and Sonata. Oh boy, had a few. This was the main issue I had with G1 CLIMAX this year, was that Evil went over, not only into the quarterfinals, but he actually defeated Sonata. I do not understand that. I guess you're looking back at their history and, hey, let's do a program with these guys, I guess, now at this point. So that's the train of thought, but having Evil go over, not over only Shingo Takagi in the block finals, but then to go over the world champion, the IWGP heavyweight champion Sonata, in Sonata's only loss in the G1, boy, I had to question that one. Did not care for this match too much. And then as well, Sonata was dealing with a bicep injury throughout the tournament. That might explain why some of his matches were a little bit subpar and a little bit underwhelming. There you go. So Evil advanced to the semifinals. And then we got Kazuchika Okada against Zack Sabre Jr. Yet another match that just barely missed the list of the top 10 takes. This was also a good match, I would say. Check it out. It still was a must-see match, even though it didn't cut the top 10. It was right there at 11 or 12, right along there with Finlay and Ospreay. So then going into the semifinals, we had Evil and Okada, which I could not get into it. I kind of figured that Evil would maybe even go over. I didn't have trust in the booking at this point, but fortunately he did not. Okada did go over, made it through all the shenanigans in that match with Evil, Togo, etc. And we move on to the other semifinal match, which was simply fucking awesome. Match of the year candidate, no question about it. Tetsuya Naito and Will Ospreay tore this bitch up. It was an unbelievable match of attrition. Near the end of the match, 5 minutes left, perhaps, somewhere around there, it turned into a whole different level of physicality. There was a shot where I think Naito was supposed to duck, and they got their cues off, and Ospreay gave him a kick right in the face legitimately. It knocked Naito loopy for sure. At that point, Will Ospreay carried Naito to a fantastic level of carrying. I couldn't believe it, because Naito was legitimately out on his feet, looped the fuck out, probably concussed, no question about it, and they still kept going. Gotta give Ospreay a ton of credit for the carry job here, and I gotta give Tetsuya Naito credit for showing that strong spirit to the max in this match, as Naito was out big time. Normally in a match like this, they probably would have stopped the match and just called it, but because of the implications here that Naito was going over, I can see why they wanted the match to continue. It would have screwed up the entire tournament. So Naito ended up going over Ospreay. Bit of a surprise. I kind of thought maybe we'd get Ospreay and Okada in the finals, but keep in mind, that match happened in the G1 already. In this G1, Ospreay did defeat Okada. They were in the same block, so that would have been a bit repetitive. So I can see why they went with the finals, which was Tetsuya Naito, Kazuchika Okada. These guys have a long history, have had matches in the G1 CLIMAX, have had matches everywhere, Tokyo Dome, you name it. A lot of history with these guys. Fantastic match once again. Told a great story. They played up Naito's injuries quite a bit, and the crowd was electric for the finals, and as well as the semifinal match with Naito and Ospreay. But wow, just a fantastic final. Tetsuya Naito going over Kazuchika Okada to win the G1 CLIMAX 33. So let's get into the actual top 10 takes of the G1 CLIMAX 33 here. Let's not waste any more time. Here we go with number 10 from July 21st. Check out Kazuchika Okada and Taichi, man. They were going. Maybe the first half of this match was a little slow. It was a long build. What was nice about the tournament matches themselves in the blocks, they changed this up in the finals and I think the semifinals as well, maybe even the quarterfinals. They didn't have a time limit, but they had 20-minute time limits in the block matches, and it helped the pace of it a bit, and this was one of them where It was just a nice paced match with Okada and Taichi. Okada went over in that one. Number 9, Shingo Takagi and Tomohiro Ishii. This was from the 23rd of July. Oh man, just a physical match worth checking out, no question about it. Ishii was one of the best MVPs of this entire tournament, and this was just an example. When he's in there with Shingo, watch out, because it's a fucking barn burner, just like this one was at number 9. Number 8, Kento Kiyomiya against Sanada. This was a very good match that was right up to the last seconds where Sanada went over. I thought Kiyomiya would at least get the draw, but it was not to be. I want to see another match with these two. How about number 7? On the 26th of July, we had Zack Sabre Jr. and Jeff Cobb in the main event of that block match. And man, just this was the best match these two have had. They've had a series of matches. This one certainly was the best for sure. Number 6, we just talked about a little while ago, Will Ospreay and Kazuchika Okada. You'd think maybe this would be a little further down the list. It was not my favorite match between these two. They have had better matches in the past. I think in some ways the time limit almost hurt this match a little bit in some ways, because some of their other matches built a little bit differently. This just, something felt a little bit off on this one, but what was to note on here was Ospreay actually went over Okada. So I think if I recall, Okada only had losses from Ospreay and Evil, so that he was mightily protected in this tournament for sure. And that match was on the 8th of August, if you're looking back at, or excuse me, the 27th of May, if you're looking back at particular dates to check out these shows. Now going to August 8th, ELP, El Phantasmo had a match with Will Ospreay that clicked on all levels. They were on all cylinders going. These two have a very similar style, and it really connected at number 5. Number 4 was an unexpected gem. Two legends, Tetsuya Naito and Hiroshi Tanahashi, toured up in the last night of the block finals for their block. I believe it was Block D. And my goodness, Tanahashi woke up. I guess he figured this was his last block match. He was going to make the most of it and really put Naito over, since obviously I think both competitors knew who was going over in the finals. So Tanahashi, as the company veteran, was going to make the most of the situation, and he sure did. He came in guns blazing, looked like the old Tanahashi. Naito brought it to a different level as well. Both of these guys were on fire, and a finish that you have to check out that was just like, whoa, hello. Great finish on that one with Tetsuya Naito going over Hiroshi Tanahashi. This was on August 9th. Number 3 was Tomohiro Ishii and Eddie Kingston. I hope they do this match again and maybe All In or All Out. This was phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Physicality like you wouldn't believe. Definitely the best match for Ishii and as well as for Kingston in this tournament. I thought Eddie Kingston came across really good in this tournament. Almost, I could tell growth from the first match till the end of the G1. He looked really good in there, and he got a lot of really great experience. Kind of made a dream come true for himself being involved in this. I hope to see more of Kingston in New Japan down the road. I think we will as New Japan Strong Champion. It seems very likely. In fact, they kind of set up a program with Hanare as well in the G1 here near the end. That gets us to number 2. Number 2 is the finals. That is Tetsuya Naito and Kazuchika Okada. Just like I said, the atmosphere for this match was second to none. The crowd was in a different level. Just so good. Probably the best match I've seen between these guys ever. And that's saying a lot because they've had tons of matches together. Really, really awesome finals. Very, very dramatic. Match just built to a fantastic crescendo and a final with Naito winning and getting the crown of the winner of the G1 CLIMAX 33. That means he takes on, presumably, unless he loses the title before then, his former LIJ running mate Sonata at the Tokyo Dome at Wrestle Kingdom. And I have a feeling that Naito's going over in January, but we will see. This storyline has been done really well. If you recall, Sonata left LIJ and joined those 5 guys, or just 5 guys, in the New Japan Cup after he defeated Tetsuya Naito. So looking back here, it makes a nice, really well done storyline that they're hoping to pay off at Wrestle Kingdom with Naito and Sonata. Then we get to number 1, and that is that match that I was talking about just a little while ago as being so fucking good. And that was Will Ospreay and Tetsuya Naito from the semifinals of the G1 CLIMAX, final part of the tournament. Oh my God. This might end up being actually one of the best matches of the year. I think I may even like this to the same level as the Ospreay and Omega matches, the 2 matches we've seen this year from them. This was right up there. So this is going to be one of those matches by the end of the year that's going to stand true and probably be like in a top 3, top 5 for sure of the best of the year. No question about it. Absolutely a must-see match. You gotta check out to see the war of attrition of this match, like I said. Seeing one of the guys legitimately out on their feet and the other guys still carrying him very realistically. You wouldn't have noticed it, but he was definitely carrying Naito to a fantastic match and finish. So that's it. Looking back at G1 CLIMAX 33. I will be back later tonight or tomorrow. We're going to be doing some midweek must-see matches, and oh my God, do we got another big list this week in that category. So come on back, check it out. Midweek must-see matches tonight or sometime tomorrow. Same place, same channel. Wrestling Rants, baby! See you later for some more Wrestling Rants!